The Lagos skyline glowed under the late afternoon sun, a vibrant tapestry of glass towers and bustling markets that pulsed with the heartbeat of Nigeria. In a palatial mansion in Ikoyi, 25-year-old Elena Obi stood by a panoramic window, her dark eyes tracing the city's frenetic energy motorcycles weaving through traffic, street hawkers calling out, and the distant hum of Fuji music. As the only child of the late billionaire chief Nkechi Obi, Elena inherited a legacy of staggering wealth: oil refineries in the Niger Delta, luxury estates in Lekki and Abuja, and a philanthropy foundation that provided scholarships and healthcare to thousands across Nigeria. Her father's sudden death 8 months ago from a stroke had left her reeling, torn between grief and the daunting task of upholding his vision. Today, the reading of his will promised to shape her path. In a grand salon adorned with ebony carvings, gold-threaded tapestries, and ancestral portraits, the Obi family gathered cousins, aunts, uncles, and distant relatives, their faces a mix of anticipation, envy, and barely concealed ambition. The family lawyer, Mr. Chukwuma Adebayo, stood in a tailored charcoal suit, holding the document that would define Elena's future. Mr. Adebayo's voice cut through the tension like a blade. This is the last will and testament of Chief Nkechi Obi. The room fell silent, every breath held. Chief Obi allocates 30% of his wealth and properties to his extended family. The remaining 70%, along with ownership of Obi Global Ventures, is bequeathed to his beloved daughter, Elena Obi. Elena's heart surged with pride, her father's trust a bittersweet anchor amidst her loss. But the lawyer's pause signaled a twist. "There is, however, a condition," he said, adjusting his glasses. "Miss Elena Obi may claim her inheritance properties, wealth, and the CEO position only if she is married within 1 year of this reading." The words struck like a thunderclap, the room's silence heavy with shock. Elena's breath caught, her mind racing. Her father, a titan of industry and tradition, had always preached that family was the bedrock of legacy, a belief rooted in his Igbo heritage and his own marriage to Elena's late mother, Nneka, a union of love and partnership. This stipulation, though jarring, reflected his conviction that a stable partnership fortified ambition and ensured the continuity of his empire. "This is not merely about wealth," Mr. Adebayo continued, his voice solemn. "It is about responsibility, stability, and the strength to carry my vision forward. I trust my daughter to choose a partner who shares her values and honors our legacy." Whispers erupted among the relatives, their eyes pinning Elena with a mix of pity, curiosity, and calculation. At 25, she'd envisioned a life of independence. Steering Obi Global Ventures with her own blend of innovation and compassion, marriage was a distant dream, not a mandate. Shock gave way to defiance, her resolve hardening like steel. As the lawyer folded the will, Elena felt the weight of destiny. She was no longer just an heiress. She was a woman on a quest for love, trust, and her father's unwavering faith in her. Later, in the mansion's lush garden, where hibiscus blooms framed koi ponds and jacaranda trees swayed in the breeze, Elena wrestled with the ultimatum. Her childhood had been a blend of privilege and purpose: private schools in Lagos and London, summers volunteering at her father's clinics, and evenings listening to her mother's stories of resilience as a young nurse. Marriage had been a vague notion, something she'd explore in her 30s, perhaps, after carving her own path. Her thoughts drifted to her university days at the University of Lagos, to Chikai and Wosu, her first love. They'd shared dreams over bottles of Star Lager and late-night walks along the campus lagoon, planning a future of impact. Chikai as a tech innovator building solutions for Africa, Elena as a philanthropist uplifting the marginalized. Their love had been fierce, a fire that burned bright, but after graduation, Chikai vanished without explanation, leaving her heart scarred and a void of unanswered questions. She'd spent years wondering where he'd gone, his absence a wound that never fully healed. Now she pushed the memory aside. Chikai was her past. Her future demanded action. "I'll do it," she declared aloud, her voice resolute. "If marriage is what it takes to honor Papa's legacy, I'll find a way." The clock was ticking, and her journey had begun. Determined to understand her father's empire, Elena immersed herself in Obi Global Ventures, a gleaming glass tower in Victoria Island that buzzed with corporate ambition. The staff greeted her with reverence, their loyalty to Chief Obi palpable, many sharing stories of how his scholarships or clinics had changed their lives. Among them was Tunde Adewale, a 32-year-old head of operations whose charisma and efficiency stood out. Tunde's tailored suit and easy smile exuded confidence, and his warm greeting disarmed her. "Miss Obi, it's a privilege to welcome you," he said, offering a tour of the headquarters. His command of the company's operations oil contracts in Ogonial, luxury estates in Echo Atlantic, and a microfinance program for women entrepreneurs impressed Elena. His charm was effortless, his stories of rising from a modest background in Ibadan to a corporate leader resonating with her own drive. Over weeks, their interactions grew frequent, Tunde's anecdotes about Lagos's hustle and his attentive listening forging a bond. When Elena confided the will's condition during a dinner of egusi soup and pounded yam at a chic Ikoyi restaurant, Tunde's empathy felt like a lifeline. "You're carrying a heavy mantle," he said, his eyes warm. "But you're unstoppable, Elena. Your father would be proud." Her heart warmed. Could Tunde be the partner she needed? Their relationship deepened swiftly, fueled by shared goals and Tunde's apparent devotion. He accompanied her to charity galas, where his eloquence won over her father's old allies, and spoke passionately about expanding Obi Global X's renewable energy initiatives. He seemed to understand her vision, blending profit with purpose, a hallmark of her father's legacy. 4 months later, Tunde proposed in the company's rooftop garden, the Lagos skyline twinkling like a sea of stars, a diamond ring glinting in his hand. "Marry me, Elena," he said, his voice smooth as silk. "Let's build a legacy together." Seeing a path to her inheritance and believing in his love, Elena accepted, her heart fluttering with hope, though a faint unease lingered, like a shadow at the edge of her joy. Wedding plans consumed her, securing the Civic Center on Victoria Island, curating a guest list of Nigeria's elite, and designing a gown that fused Ankara vibrancy with Parisian elegance. Yet, Tunde's occasional sharpness, snapping at a waiter, evading questions about his family, stirred doubt. Was his charm a facade? Elena's unease was compounded by her family dynamics. Her aunt, Ngozi, a sharp-tongued matriarch who'd received a modest share of the inheritance, openly criticized the will's condition. "Kalichi was old-fashioned," Ngozi said at a family dinner, her voice dripping with disdain. "Forcing you to marry is unfair, Elena. You should fight it." Her cousin, Chidi, a lawyer with ambitions of his own, suggested contesting the will, eyeing a larger share for himself. "We could argue undue influence," he said slyly. Elena rebuffed them, her loyalty to her father unwavering, but their pressure added to her stress. Her childhood friend, Maya, a fiery journalist with a popular blog, offered unwavering support. "You've got this, Elena," Maya said over cocktails at a Lekki lounge. "Follow your heart, not their noise." Maya's encouragement was a balm, but the weight of expectation grew heavier. One sweltering afternoon, seeking respite from wedding planning and family tension, Elena visited the bustling Belogan market to buy fresh yams and peppers. The market's chaos vendors shouting, gospel music blaring, Okadas darting through crowds offered a fleeting escape. As she navigated a crowded alley, her steps faltered. There, sitting on a tattered mat beside a pile of plastic bottles, was a man she recognized instantly, Chikai Nwosu, her college sweetheart. His once bright eyes were dulled by exhaustion, his clothes threadbare, a cardboard sign reading, "Please help," at his feet. Her heart sank, memories flooding back of stolen kisses in the unflagged library and promises of a shared future. "Chikai," she whispered, rushing to him, oblivious to the curious stares of market-goers. Chikai looked up, his weathered face breaking into a weary smile. "Elena, is it really you?" His voice held joy tinged with shame, his hands fidgeting with the sign. "What happened?" she asked, kneeling beside him, her voice trembling. "Why are you here, begging?" Chikae's story spilled out in halting bursts. After graduation, he'd pursued tech opportunities in London, but faced visa denials and job rejections. Returning to Lagos, he launched a startup, but it collapsed under the weight of unpaid loans and his mother's cancer treatment costs. Her death, 6 months ago, had broken him, and pride kept him from seeking help, leading him to beg as a last resort. Elena's eyes welled with tears, her heart aching for the man she'd once loved. "You don't deserve this," she said fiercely. "Let me help." They exchanged numbers, and she promised to follow up, her mind reeling as she walked away, the market's noise fading into a dull roar. That evening, Elena shared the encounter with Tundday, expecting compassion. Instead, his face darkened, his voice sharp as a blade. "Why are you wasting time on a filthy beggar?" he snapped, slamming his glass on the dining table. Startled, Elena tried to explain. He's not just a beggar, Tunde. He was my friend, someone special. Can we give him a job, maybe as a driver? He needs a second chance. Tunde's eyes narrowed, his jaw tight, but after a heated argument, he relented, his agreement laced with disdain. Fine, but don't expect me to coddle him, he said coldly. His reaction unsettled Elena, a crack forming in the polished veneer of his charm. The next day, Elena called Chikai with the news. I've got you a job as a driver for us, she said warmly. Chikai's gratitude was palpable, his voice cracking with emotion. Thank you, Elena. I won't let you down. His first day was a blend of nerves and determination, but Tunde's demeanor was glacial, his orders curt and dismissive. Chikai absorbed the hostility, focusing on his duties driving Tunde to meetings, maintaining the company's sleek Range Rover. One evening, dropping Tunde at the office after hours, Chikai noticed him lingering late. Concerned, he checked the office and froze. Tunde was locked in a passionate embrace with Nkechi, the company's secretary, a sharp-witted woman who managed Obi Global X's financial contracts. Their conversation was chilling. Once I marry Elena, we'll siphon the funds to our offshore accounts, Tunde said, his voice smug. She's too naive to suspect. Nkechi laughed, her tone mocking. And she thinks you're her soulmate. Chikai's heart pounded as he slipped away, resolve hardening. He had to protect Elena. Racing to her Ikoyi mansion, Chikai blurted the truth as soon as she opened the door. Tunde and Nkechi are plotting to defraud you after the wedding. I saw them, heard them. Elena's face paled, disbelief warring with dread. Chikae, are you sure? Tunde's been so supportive, so loving. Chikai's voice was firm, his eyes steady. I saw them kissing in the office, planning to take everything. You need to be careful, Elena. Her mind spun, Tunde's charm clashing with Chikae's raw sincerity. This is a lot to take in, she admitted, her voice trembling. I need time to think. That night, confronting Tunde, Elena tread carefully, her heart pounding. Chikai said something disturbing, she began, watching his face closely. He claims you and Nkechi are plotting against me. Tunde's expression flickered a flash of panic before he masked it with outrage. He's lying, he said sharply, his voice rising. He barged into a private meeting, causing trouble. He's jealous, Elena, trying to sabotage us. You need to fire him. His anger sowed doubt, and Elena, torn between her fiancé's assurances and Chikai's earnest warning, sided with Tunde. I'm sorry, Chikai, she told him the next day, her voice heavy with regret. I think it's best if you leave. Chikae's eyes held no resentment, only determination. I'll prove the truth, he vowed, walking away, his resolve unshaken. Chikai wasn't truly homeless. After his struggles in London, he'd returned to Lagos and built a modest cybersecurity startup, operating remotely while caring for his mother until her death. His time on the streets had been a deliberate act to investigate Tunde after spotting him with Nkechi at a cafe, suspecting deceit based on rumors of financial irregularities at Obi Global Ventures. Now, disguised as a street vendor selling phone accessories near the company's Victoria Island headquarters, Chikai monitored Tunde's movements. One evening, he caught Tunde and Nkechi at a trendy Lekki lounge, their conversation brazen. After the wedding, we'll transfer the assets to our shell companies, Tunde boasted, sipping a cocktail. Elena's too trusting to notice. Nkechi smirked. And she'll be left with nothing but a broken heart. Chikai recorded it, his phone steady despite his racing heart, the evidence ironclad. He called Elena, his voice urgent. Meet me before your wedding. I have proof. Her loyalty to Tunde wavered, Chikai's desperation resonating deeply. Reluctantly, she agreed to meet at a quiet cafe in Ikoyi, the scent of coffee mingling with her anxiety. Chikai played the recording, Elena's face crumpling as Tunde's voice laid bare his betrayal, each word a dagger to her heart. Tears streamed down her cheeks, her hands shaking. I didn't want to believe you, she whispered, her voice raw. But it's undeniable. Chikai's voice softened, his hand hovering near hers. You still have time, Elena. Don't let him destroy you. She left, her world upended, but a fire kindled within her, a resolve to reclaim her life and her father's legacy. Back at her mansion, Tunde's charm felt like a mockery. Probing him with questions about trust and loyalty, Elena watched his responses, each word clashing with the recording's truth. That night, as Tunde slept, she replayed the audio, her tears giving way to determination. The next morning, she called Chikai. "You were right. I need your help." They devised a plan, but Elena's investigation went beyond Tunde. She uncovered a deeper conspiracy involving her cousin Chidi, who'd been colluding with Tunde to undermine her inheritance, hoping to seize control of Obi Global Ventures if she failed to meet the will's condition. Chidi's betrayal stung, a reminder of the family's greed, but it fueled her resolve. Elena hired Ifeanyi Okeke, a private investigator with a reputation for exposing corporate fraud, and confided in her cousin Amara, a brilliant corporate lawyer, and her childhood friend Maya, a journalist with a popular blog, Lagos Pulse. Ifeanyi dug into Tunde's financial dealings, uncovering forged contracts, offshore accounts, and a trail of embezzled funds over N2 billion siphoned from Obi Global Ventures over 2 years. Nkechi, Tunde's accomplice, had doctored financial reports to conceal the theft, while Chidi had facilitated shell companies to launder the money. Amara reviewed the evidence, crafting a legal strategy to protect Elena's inheritance, while Maya prepared to break the story, ensuring public accountability. Elena also reached out to her father's old friend, Chief Mrs. Besarsetzas, Aisha Danjuma, a respected philanthropist and board member of Obi Global Ventures, whose influence rallied the company's leadership behind Elena. Elena's investigation revealed a web of deceit that extended beyond Tundday. Nkechi had ties to a rival conglomerate, secretly funneling Obi Global X's proprietary data to undermine its market position. Chidi's involvement exposed a faction of the Obi family resentful of Kalichi's success, plotting to dilute Elena's control. The revelation shook Elena, but they also clarified her purpose. She wasn't just fighting for her inheritance. She was defending her father's vision against those who sought to dismantle it. To outmaneuver her adversaries, Elena feigned commitment to the wedding, letting Tunde, Nkechi, and Chidi believe their plans were secure. She worked tirelessly with Amara to secure the company's assets, transferring critical accounts to protected trusts and alerting the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, to the fraud. The wedding day arrived, and Tunde, in a lavish Banana Island hotel suite, adjusted his cufflinks, smirking with confidence. He envisioned marriage to Elena, control of Obi Global Ventures, and a fortune secured, unaware of the storm brewing. In a serene Lekki garden, under a canopy of jacarandas and fairy lights, a different scene unfolded. Elena, radiant in a white gown embroidered with gold and coral beads, stood at an altar beside Chikai, her true love. The intimate ceremony, attended by Amara, Maya, Ifeanyi, Chief Mrs. Danjuma, and a handful of loyal family and friends, glowed with authenticity. Chikai, striking in a cream agbada with gold embroidery, revealed his truth. "I was never a beggar, Elena. After university, I worked in London, built a cybersecurity startup. I returned to Lagos for my mother's care, keeping a low profile. When I saw Tundday with you, I suspected his motives and posed as a beggar to uncover his plans. My love for you never faded." Elena's eyes glistened, her heart full. "You saved me," she whispered, her voice trembling with gratitude. Their vows were a testament to resilience and love. "I promised to trust you, cherish you, and face every challenge together," Elena said, her voice steady and clear. Chikai echoed, his voice heartfelt. "I promise to stand by you, protect you, and love you forever." As they exchanged rings, the crowd's applause was drowned out by a commotion at the garden's entrance. Tunde burst in, Nkechi and Chidi trailing, their faces contorted with rage. "What is this?" Tunde shouted, his voice trembling with fury. Elena stepped forward, her presence commanding, her voice unyielding. "Your lies end here, Tunde. This is my real wedding, and Chikai is my real groom. Your schemes, and those of your accomplices, are over." Chikai spoke, his voice resonant with authority. "I was never a beggar, Tunde. I built my own success abroad and returned to Lagos. When I saw you plotting with Nkechi, I couldn't let you ruin Elena. My love for her is real, unlike your greed." Elena raised her phone, playing the recording of Tunde and Nkechi's lounge conversation, their voices detailing the plan to defraud her. Amara stepped forward, holding a dossier of evidence. "These are forged contracts, bank records, and emails proving Tunde, Nkechi, and Chidi have stolen billions from Obi Global Ventures," she declared. Maya's camera captured the moment, her live stream on Lagos Pulse reaching millions across Nigeria. Chief Mrs. Danjuma addressed the crowd, her voice commanding, "Elena is the rightful heir to Kelechi's legacy. These betrayers will face justice." Ifeanyi signaled discreetly, and EFCC officers, tipped off by Elena, entered the garden, handcuffing Tunde, Nkechi, and Chidi as gasps erupted. Tunde's face paled, his plans in ruins. "Elena, please," he stammered, but her gaze was steel. "You preyed on my trust," she said. "Now you face the consequences." Chidi, defiant, shouted, "You'll regret this!" But Nkechi, realizing the futility, remained silent, her head bowed. The officers led them away, their reputations shattered as Maya's broadcast went viral, sparking public outrage against corporate greed. The ceremony continued, Elena and Chikae's kiss, sealing a union built on trust and resilience. The crowd cheered, celebrating not just their love, but the triumph of truth over deceit. Elena claimed her inheritance, becoming CEO of Obi Global Ventures at 25. She transformed the company, launching tech incubators for young innovators, microfinance programs for women, and urban renewal projects in Lagos's underserved areas like Adekunle and Makoko. Her initiatives were inspired by Chikae's resilience and her own brush with betrayal, reflecting her commitment to equity and opportunity. She also reformed the company's governance, rooting out corruption and appointing Chief Mrs. Danjuma as board chair to ensure integrity. Elena's leadership earned her accolades, with Forbes Africa naming her one of the continent's most influential young leaders. Her marriage to Chikae flourished, a partnership of equals. Chikai merged his cybersecurity startup with Obi Global Ventures, bolstering its tech division and securing contracts with global firms. Their love, tested by time and deceit, grew stronger through shared dreams and quiet moments, cooking egoist stew together, dancing to Bruna Boy at home, or planning community projects. Elena's family, initially skeptical, rallied behind her, with Aunt Ngozi apologizing for her earlier doubts and becoming a vocal supporter of Elena's nonprofit. 5 years later, Elena and Chikai welcomed twins, Adele and Kelechi, named for royalty and their grandfather. Elena's nonprofit, Beacon of Truth, became a cornerstone of Lagos's social fabric, offering job training, scholarships, mental health support, and advocacy against classism and corporate deceit. The organization partnered with local churches, mosques, and community leaders, hosting workshops in neighborhoods like Surulere and Oshodi. Beacon of Truth also launched a national campaign, Truth Rises, to combat corruption and empower marginalized voices, earning endorsements from Nigerian celebrities and international NGOs. At a Beacon of Truth gala at the Ika Convention Center, Elena stood with Chikai, their twins in coordinated A-slope outfits, addressing a crowd of thousands. "I was tested by greed and lies," she said, her voice resonant, amplified by the hall's acoustics. "But love, truth, and community prevailed. You are enough, no matter where you start." The applause was deafening, a chorus of voices inspired by her courage. Maya's blog post about the event, titled Elena Obi, the heiress who rewrote her destiny, garnered millions of views, cementing Elena's status as a national icon. Tunde, Nkechi, and Chidi faced prison sentences for fraud and embezzlement, their names synonymous with disgrace in Lagos's corporate and social circles. The Obi family, chastened by Chidi's downfall, reconciled with Elena, their support bolstering her initiatives. Elena's aunt Ngozi became a Beacon of Truth ambassador, funding scholarships for girls in her native Enugu. Chief Mrs. Danjuma mentored Elena, sharing wisdom from her own battles as a woman in Nigeria's male-dominated elite. Elena's impact extended beyond Lagos. She partnered with the African Union to launch a continent-wide youth entrepreneurship program, drawing on Chikae's tech expertise to provide digital training. Her story inspired novels, Nollywood films, and university courses on ethical leadership, with students dissecting her triumph over deceit. In quieter moments, Elena reflected on her journey, driving through Lagos one evening with Chikai, the city's lights twinkling like a galaxy. She felt profound peace. The third mainland bridge stretched before them, a symbol of connection, much like her life. She'd faced betrayal, reclaimed her legacy, and found love not just with Chikai, but with the woman she'd become. Years later, at a Beacon of Truth summit in Abuja, Elena stood before a global audience, Adele and Kelechi playing nearby, Chikae's hand in hers. My father's will was a test, she said, her voice steady, not of marriage, but of character. Choose truth, choose love, and you'll build a legacy that endures. The standing ovation echoed her impact, a woman who turned betrayal into a beacon, illuminating Nigeria and beyond. Tunde faded into obscurity, a footnote in her story, while Elena and Chikae's light shone eternal, their love a testament to unbreakable bonds and the power of truth.